Hey guys, Drifter here. Sledgehammer Games recently added a new game mode in the bonus playlist called Oneshot. It's essentially quickscopes the game mode because once you get into the game, everybody has half health. You have the standard hard scope class. You also have a class with a variable zoom, which is the same thing, just if you don't like that one. There's also an ACOG. Not the biggest fan of this one, but I can make use of it. An ace class with the stock so you can sidestep a bit, and one with iron sights if you're just feeling silly about it. But this is essentially just a quickscopes only playlist, or sniper rifle only. They can't make you QS only, though about 90 to 95% of the people are just trying to do mad tricks in quickscope. There's a bit of a problem in that it's getting a little bit knife and punch heavy because sometimes that's easier than quickscoping, but the game modes are fun, they're chaotic, and one of the best things about it is that I think it's keeping most of the quickscopers, snipers, trick shotters, trolls, whatever, out of the normal playlist and in here, and it's also just kind of fun. For whatever reason, I do just kind of like it. I think I'm just kind of a goofball by nature, and I have fun goofing off and doing crazy things, and this is pretty much the game mode for that. Like I was saying, a lot of the quickscopers are here. They're not in normal lobbies. I haven't seen very much quickscoping or sniping in general in my normal games. I know a lot of you find the snipers to be annoying or the quickscopers to be annoying, so this is really cut down on them, and it's also pretty much a haven for Christmas noobs. Tons and tons of Christmas noobs, which we all do love to kill, and there I got knifed. This is not necessarily just a comment about the one-shot playlist, commentary, mind you, about the one-shot playlist. I couldn't quite talk for 6 minutes about just, quickscoping or a sniper playlist, so instead, I wanted to tell you the story of our new dog, Bumi. We have adopted a special needs dog from a rescue here in Texas. We adopted another Shiba Inu, or Doge dog, or Shibi, or, meme animal. The exact same breed as Ozzy, but a little bit different. His name is Bumi. He's been given the moniker Boomy Bandius on Twitter by a fan of mine who's running the account. I'll put the Twitter up there on the screen. It's also linked down there in the description. You can follow it. I don't run it. Literally, a fan made this Twitter and started tweeting at me, and I sent him a DM. I said, "Who is this?" He says, "Boomy," and I was like, this is the perfect guy to run that Twitter, so I just let him run the dog account, and he does whatever. But basically, a couple of months ago, we picked up a stray dog. I believe it was a beagle. It was a female puppy. You probably saw this on Twitter. She stayed with us for a day or two, and when she left, Ozzy got kind of sad. Like, he was kind of a dick to the dog while she was here, but then when the dog left, Ozzy acted all depressed and kind of like he was missing the dog. So I was thinking, maybe we should get another dog. Maybe Ozzy needs a dog friend or something like that. And, well, we decided to look at some shelter dogs, and the shelter dogs were unfortunately very, well, this is like the normal, like, city animal shelter dogs were looking pretty rough or violent or dangerous. So we contacted the Shiba Inu Rescue of Texas, which I also linked down there in the description. They're a little org here in Texas that does foster Shibas, and he didn't want to train one from a puppy. He's like, maybe we can get a good adult dog. So we looked, and we found this dog called Boomy. He looked like he would be the perfect dog for us. House trained, good with other dogs, good with kids, friendly, all this kind of stuff, and we decided to adopt him. Now, Boomy is a special needs Shiba. He is, we'll do the special needs stuff before I get to his story. He's deaf. He cannot hear out of either ear very much. He can hear a few sounds here and there if they're like super loud, but then we suspect he might just be hearing the vibrations. He mostly gets by looking at hands and feet movements and kind of feeling vibrations in the floor and stuff like that. He also might have some kind of mild paralysis or something going on because his legs kind of flop and droop a little bit, or then again, maybe he's just a lazy dog. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. According to the microchip in his back, he was born in Okinawa, Japan, so we literally have a dog that came from Japan to get here, and from what scant information we have, he was purchased by a U.S. military family that was living on one of the bases there, or the base there. I'm not sure how many there are. I'm not familiar with my Japanese-American bases, and they kept him for a while. They brought him back to Oklahoma. Now, I'm in Dallas, so I'm in North Texas up here. Oklahoma's not very far away, and for some reason in Oklahoma, they decided to abandon the dog, and I say abandon because when you can choose to surrender a dog to your local shelter. That's totally okay, but the paperwork we got had part of their name and some information on there, but it had been blacked out and scratched out, and instead the different box was checked for surrender. So like not for stray, so they originally like surrendered the dog, and then for whatever reason decided not to and just wrote stray and dropped him off. So that's really unfortunate, but we managed to pick him up. If the dog were a person, the dog would be a stoner. It sleeps like 8 hours a day. Unfortunately, Ozzy did not immediately love this dog. As a matter of fact, they fought most of the time, and I got in the middle of it one day. They started fighting over a French fry. I reached down to break it up. each dog bit a portion of my hand and pulled the opposite direction. Once they saw that they'd bit me, they both stopped fighting, but it was too late. My fingers were split, and I almost lost one of my trigger fingers here, but I managed to keep that going on. Not the finger, the tendon. Little dogs have big teeth. They can bite too. The tendon got bruised a bit, but it since recovered. Unfortunately, in Texas, we have rabies laws that require dogs to be quarantined whenever they bite a human. I was able to convince the local animal shelter to let me do a home quarantine for 10 days, which is a frustrating process, and we had to pay for it, but it was done. And at the end of this, even though our dogs weren't necessarily getting along, we kind of fell in love with Boomy. He was a great dog, so we decided to keep him and kind of weather through it. We've been training, we've been teaching them to get along better, doing all sorts of different stuff. And so far it's working. They are actually getting along better, they're sharing spaces better, the fights are becoming far, far less frequently, and they even play on occasion. I think they only play when we're not looking. They don't want us to know that, you know, they're getting along. And one of the funny things about Boomy is I went on a really long trip to Mississippi recently, which I'll be doing a commentary about soon. And it had been 10 days, and I came back, and in those 10 days, the dog had lost like a ton of weight and a ton of fur, and it looked like a different dog. I was panicking. I thought he was sick. I took him to the vet. The vet told me that I read the symptoms to the vet. The vet's like, okay, we're going to try our best, but we don't know what we're going to be able to do here. And the vet got the blood work and then looked at the dog's history, and he said my dog was abnormally healthy. He said that he was so healthy, in fact, you know, he wasn't living quite as well at the shelter or in some of these other environments, but his change in behavior and like physiological self is a good adaptation to a positive environment. So my dog is literally growing like a new coat of fluffier fur and losing weight and all these sort of good things. He's kind of fat before, and everything's going good. That is the story of Boomy Bambius and the quickscoping playlist. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.